All right, you good? Sweet. Hello.
Hello.
For the sake of the lower thirds, what is your name and where do you work?
My name is Grzegorz Brzęczyszczykiewicz. No, that's serious. That's a joke from a famous Polish movie. My name is Marcin Iwiński. I'm the co-founder and joint CEO of CD Projekt.
Yeah.
How do you say?
It's CD Projekt Red?
CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red.
Okay, getting
Is
there.
that okay?
Couple more years.
CD Projekt Red.
Red.
Right. Make us shoot some docs in Poland and maybe I'll get better at it. Yeah. Welcome back to GDC. What is GDC for you this year? It seems like you've wrapped up on a massive project. There's another one coming some way down the pipeline. But is there a lot to do here this year?
I think there's always a lot to the GDC, and I think it's different over time. When we have something rolling, there's probably more interviews and more media things, but it's always a great platform to meet people and talk in a more relaxed atmosphere. Time for lunches, for dinners, for breakfast, and just hanging out and catching up, and also some good business. I really appreciate this place because everybody's here, both from the media side and from the business side. At the same time, there is no such pressure like there is at E3, which is always about the big stuff, the big games, and everyone has got like 30 minutes and they got to run to another meeting. So GDC, I think it's a good place to hang out and talk to people.
So for someone in your position who's at the top tier of
at the
a
top
company,
top of the top of the top.
of the top, you're
Okay, continue.
I
That's
just-
very interesting.
I'm
Your position, my limo driver is waiting for me outside. Normally they come to my car, we have a drink, and then we drive around.
I know we had to have like 10 bottles of kombucha for you here when you came in.
Just the one without alcohol because I don't have my ID on me.
yeah.
Funnily enough, sometimes it's even a place to meet some people from the game dev scene from Poland. I just met with
Right.
Paweł from Techland. He's in Wrocław, I am in Warsaw, so it's roughly 350 kilometers, and we meet annually at GDC for a nice lunch and chat. But I'm meeting normally people from companies we're working with, so obviously the first parties, we're meeting with certain media, and generally our business partners from all around the world, new contacts, sometimes certain people are pitching us, I don't know, middleware services and whatnot. It really depends at E3, but everybody who does games is here, so whoever we want to meet, they're here, catching up with old friends as well.
Did you used to go to GDC Europe? I know they've decided to stop doing it now. Sadly,
I think I've been I think once,
right.
but it was always a little bit awkward. It didn't have this this everyone is here kind of feeling,
Right.
and Gamescom was always I don't want to say cannibalizing it, but sort of Gamescom was the thing. So if you wanted to stuff in Europe, business in Europe, Gamescom was the platform, and GDC was sort of stick to it. I think
Right.
it just wasn't the right timing, or maybe the right match.
So it actually kind of works better for you coming here because everyone's going to be
Yeah,
here.
I think before that it's DICE, but funnily enough, every single year with our guys we thought, should we go to DICE? And it's always fly back and forward, and the jet lag. We say no, we'll just stick to GDC. So we've never been to DICE actually. It's
Oh, really?
always GDC. Yeah.
Later this year, The Witcher will be 10 years old. It'll be a decade since you launched the first game. 10 years ago when you were building that franchise, could you have imagined the sort of where that ended up going?
No,
Was
I'm
that
actually
what you were trying?
actually 10 years ago when we were working on it, we were praying to all gods to finish the first one. That's how you normally develop games. Then it was maybe not similar, but there was obviously a lot of pressure on the second one. The third one was even more ambitious. So then that I don't think you normally think like where you will be in 10 years. You think like where you will be when you finish the game and how it will work for you. And then you find out new things, you learn a lot throughout the process, and then you're a different person. So I think we've never planned that far ahead. I think the gaming industry is like an uber fast place. So so you cannot really foresee the tech trends, how people play games in 10 years. I wouldn't be brave enough to really forecast anything today, because I don't know.
A lot of the team that worked on the first game, are a lot of them still at CD Projekt?
There's a good question. Definitely a part of them. I cannot tell you how many people, but a lot of the core people that are still in, and then quite a few of them are around in the industry making other games.
And then from the second game, did you retain a lot of people as well?
Yeah, from the second game, a big part is still in. So I think the first game has definitely taken its toll,
right,
because it was 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears. And I think it's important just to stress that when we started The Witcher 1, we really had no clue how to make games. So
right,
probably 2 years was just setting up the whole production structure and really learning how to deliver milestones, how to make things happen on schedule. Even a moving schedule, but some schedule, yeah. While afterwards it was more like structured production. So that was the pain of Witcher 1, and it was a lot of energy and a lot of wasted energy and time and effort from the teams. And some people, it was hard on them.
It seems like with each project you put more on your shoulders, actually. I mean, because like Witcher 2, you were going for consoles as well, and then obviously Wild Hunt was such a massive game in terms of scope. You always seem to be, probably operating right at your like limit as a company.
No, I think above actually, but that's what's fueling us, and obviously, like with Witcher 2 and going to the console, the big unknown. Right now, it sounds like a walk in the park.
Right.
Actually, I don't want to say that Witcher 3 sounds like a walk in the park, because it wasn't one for sure. But maybe in 10 years from now, we'll think, hey, that was relatively easy. The challenges we face today.
How many people are working there now?
Right now, altogether, we are slowly reaching 600, okay. 550, something like that.
And that's not including GOG?
That's including, that's everything.
That's
so
everything
that's the whole group, GOG out of it. It's 100, 120, 130 right now, together with the tech, with the backbone. So part of these people that are working on Gwent as well. So we share a lot of resources on the server side. And
how has that growth been? Because obviously, the cautionary tale of so many companies is that when they grow, it creates its own problems and whatnot. That didn't seem to be the case with Wild Hunt. It's arguably the best game that you guys have made.
Yeah, I think we've learned a lot throughout the time, and when we talking a little bit about the history. We started as a games distribution company. We were growing, first Poland, and games distribution company mean retail. There was no digital back in the day. And then we did Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, so it started growing, so international structure. As challenging as having an office in LA these days, so like communication problems and so on and on. Then we started, we had a biggest game mail order business in Poland, biggest site. We had initial small GOG. We had B2B, like porting and QA facility. So a lot of these things. And then in 2008, 2009, the crisis hit us. We almost collapsed. We almost folded. And then we really got fixed on a concept that we have to shrink and we have to manage limited resources in a way. So I think back in the day, from mostly in the distribution business, 300 people was scaled down to 200. It was really tough time. We almost went bust. And I still remember we co-wrote with Michał, the co-founder, an article for the Polish edition of Harvard Business Review, how small is beautiful.
Right.
When I look at it from distance, I'm smiling, because that was our concept for managing back in the day. It is very different right now. I think one lesson which we learned, and it's still very much up to date, it's focusing. So we definitely do less things. So primarily, as you know, games development, So from the stuff we can talk about it, Cyberpunk and Gwent, two separate teams, two separate units, and GOG. So it's way more structured and focused, but the groups around it are much, much bigger.
Right.
So I think we learned how to manage it more effectively, how to structure it, and I think that the one important thing which we omitted back in 2007 and before was the role of managing people and spending time with them. Like for the first probably 12 years of the company, we didn't have HR. We were doing everything ourselves.
Right.
And right now, we realize that to look after people, to look after our team members, we really need people to look after people, to look after people. And this is growing, but it's also empowering us, because then if we have happy team members, they can do better job. There is less stress, and it goes smoother. Having said that, if you are larger, you are slower in a way. I think our benefit here is that we are practically all in one location, because the office in LA, it's mostly business and marketing, and we have an office in Krakow, which is just 2 hours by train. So this is manageable, and we are trying as much as we can to really concentrate all the creative forces in one place, because then we can steer the ship much faster. Yeah.
The Witcher 3, the expansion packs have come out, have been very well received as well. Is that the team that's sort of then been focused onto Cyberpunk?
Yes. This is pretty much that team. There are some people who joined the Gwent team, just a few. They wanted a different scope of the project. So it's also great to have this possibility of offering different things to people. Sometimes say, hey, I'd like to do something smaller now and something different. So, but primarily, vast majority of the team moved on to Cyberpunk.
Are you sick of people asking you about it? It's been like years since that trailer came out.
About what?
Cyberpunk.
What?
You just said it a second ago.
What? No, I'm not, because I have a very short answer. We cannot talk about it. Because whatever I say will be used against me.
I know. I mean, I feel like there are specific.
And there'll come a smart question. I know. But okay.
What I'm saying is, CD Projekt are one of those companies that, like, the minute every game journalist gets a hand of you guys, all they want is for you to say the words Cyberpunk and anything. So I totally get what you mean. But I'm saying is, are you sick of people asking you?
No, I'm not. And I think we're discussing this today with Michał, actually, and sometimes when I'm waiting for a certain game and there is no information whatsoever, I start doubting that maybe it was dissolved, maybe it's not happening. You don't know that. We're quite secretive about what we're doing. So yes, there's a lot of people more than on Witcher 1 working on Cyberpunk, but we've already announced the game. We've shown the trailer a while ago, and right now we have to show the game. So when we'll be ready, we'll do that. But rest assured, it's in the works, and it's big part of our focus. Of course, we are doing Gwent, but the whole creative forces behind The Witcher, and then some, because we've grown the team significantly, are on Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's a good problem to have. People are interested in the game.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like people are probably a lot more interested in now since The Witcher 3 came out, though, as well. Like, it was an interesting concept at the start, but seeing, this team make one of the, most lauded open world games in a long time, most lauded role-playing games in a long time, it's probably even more so.
I think it's easier and it's harder. So it's definitely easier because with Witcher 3 we had a lot to prove. So Witcher 2, first PC, then a year later console, so can really make it simultaneous, can make an open world, Can it be commercially successful? Why these guys are so crazy they are giving DLC for free, expansions and all concept. I think we've answered all these questions extremely well, and we are super proud of it, and the game was really well received. And the fact that an expansion is getting the RPG of the year, the VGAs, I think we did some good things there.
Yeah.
So this is the good side. The bad side is that there are very high expectations, and that's why we'll wait until we're really ready to show something, because we would like people to be really surprised with what we'll see, but in a positive way. It'll say like, hey, that's the thing I want to play, and until we'll think that's the thing they will want to play, we'll be just working hard.
It must be nice to win an award at the VGAs that was actually for you and wasn't for somebody else that they accidentally said the wrong game.
No, these were Oscars actually.
Yeah, actually, yeah. VGAs were doing it.
Yeah. They did it before, yeah. Copycats.
I have to ask you about China again briefly. So, what was that experience like moving to? Because you're already well versed in other languages, and you're.
Yeah, but I was living 4 years ago. We were living again, whole family for half a year in Taiwan.
Really.
And that was just pure sabbatical. It was between Witcher 2 and Witcher 3.
Right.
So then I come back and we did Witcher 3 and everything, and then after Witcher 3 I decided. Do that also on the business side, because we are going to launch Gwent in China. That's a very important market. But when I planned it, the main motivation was just to go away, study the language. I liked it a lot. It's different culture. It's a very hard language, so it's a very humbling experience. That's you suddenly, after a year of studying the language, sometimes you cannot order a cup of coffee,
right,
because you mispronounced one word.
It's like a different way of thinking about language as well. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And then you learn a lot, and you start to understand. And at a certain point, I realized it's the same place like everywhere else in the world. When you get to speak the language, so it becomes way more simple than you initially think.
Right.
It is.
And what did you think about the culture living there? Because you get a taste of it when you visit, but being there for 6 months.
Yeah, but also remember, it's only 6 months, so we are in a service apartment. It's different. We are a little bit in a bubble.
And it's your family as well.
Yeah, it was our Warsaw home transported in a way to Shanghai. So it's different, but yes, you get the full immersion. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think the culture is really fascinating, and I'd like to learn more. It is always hard with kids, especially my 14-year-old daughter. So I have 3 kids, and so we sort of took her away from her friends, and that's there's a super vibrant social life, hanging out with friends. Friends are the center of your life, and she really hated us for it.
So. Right. So no more trips to Asia for a couple of years, maybe?
Yeah. I'll go once in a while on my own, and then for business I'm going frequently. I'm usually staying a little bit longer, having a language course, and for me that's always the best way to experience the culture and learn something new.
And what about then for you personally? I mean, you've been in the industry for a long time. I feel like, if you were somebody who was coming in here as an indie on the periphery, right, geographically certainly, right, if you had a point to prove, I'm sure you've done it with what happened with The Witcher 3, right? Do you have any other, is there anything that you want to conquer?
Yeah, for me personally, I would like our games to be very successful in China. That's the next thing. Actually, for me personally, because already a lot of fans for The Witcher, but Gwent is the next step. I definitely would like people to play Gwent, to enjoy Gwent, and make Gwent big, because it's a great game.
So your only dream is world domination?
Yeah, sort of.
Let's talk next year.
I think the dream really is to keep on having fun.
Yeah.
Because, and again, coming back to the crisis times of 2008, 2009, I was working 14, 16 hours a day for 2 years. Those were the hardest days of my life. And I was first building things, and then I was restructuring them. What means closing and letting people go, and being just a very miserable person. Right now, I have more time. I'm doing what I love, and it goes well. So what could I want more?
Yeah.
I'm happy.